Welcome back to the first Power City live stream of 2025. Jesse was so excited, he had to give us an intro to 2025 in a big bang way like that. Good to see you, man. Good to have you rocking. It's been a while since you've had the trumpet or the guitar on stream, so good to see you back at it.
Yeah. I'm streaming from a room that I don't normally stream in, actually.
What is this, your musical room?
This is my musical room. And people rarely see me in that element.
It's good to see you, man. Also, I must say the guns are looking quite jacked at the same time too. So two for one for the ladies.
All right. Thanks.
But how's everything your side, man? What are you thinking? 2025's here. Trump's about to be inaugurated. We've had a bit of a dip in price. What's been going on in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, everything's still generally bullish. Pulse Chain has a bunch of babies who sell as soon as they hear something that they, look, Richard is going through some stuff right now, but you got a bunch of people who are selling because, oh no, they took his watches. Okay. Who cares about those watches? Now, what are they going to do with his throne? That's the big question. his giant chair.
The one he used to stream from, right?
Oh yeah. Look, the reality is he says he's safe. He's probably in a very safe location, a country where he can't be extradited. And he probably left his old home long ago. Okay, he left some watches behind. Why are people dumping the price? Because there was a silly article about the police confiscating those watches he left behind months ago. It doesn't make sense. The bigger news is the SEC thing, and then his tax thing, but then they're dumping because of some watches. It's just so weird.
Well, people, I mean, obviously, someone blinks, right, and then the price can move in crypto. He seemed pretty confident. What did you think of his post on? Was it around Christmas and New Year? He seemed very confident about this year.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to make everything look very positive, and everything in general in the crypto sphere is very positive going forward into 2025. And maybe rightfully so. He didn't really mention anything about his own issues that he's going through. But look, I've been trying to tell people in Telegram that this chain, while everyone looks at Richard expecting him to do something someday, expecting him to take his money and pump the chain, we've got to get past that. We've got to get that out of our minds, I think. You should never be in a blockchain because you hope that one person in the universe is going to do something that will help you, right? I think you need to be in a blockchain because there's a big community, because you can do your own work to draw people into the chain, because it's fast, because it's efficient. All these different things are a good reason to stick around in a blockchain and buy an asset. But to sit around on your hands because you hope that one guy is going to pump the price or something, that's literally silly. That's silly, in my opinion. It's been just to paint the picture here, it's been 2 years or so now, and he hasn't done that yet, right? Maybe once or something. Maybe one of his wallets bridged something in and did something. But do we really? How many years needs to go by before people realize he might not do that? Especially if he wins his case, and then the judge basically says, oh yeah, that's all yours to keep, right? All that sacrifice is yours to keep and do whatever you want with, right? Like, do you really think at that point that's the turning point where he starts helping the community, or would the turning point have already come where he's helping the community prior to a case to make it look better, right? I don't know. But the reality is we don't know at all what he's going to do. There should be no assumptions. There should be no you can always be hopeful that somebody rich is going to pump the chain, but in the reality, what chain does that ever happen on? Where you're sitting waiting for one guy to pump it so that you can get rich and exit. If it happens, great. But you shouldn't make that your lifelong focus. You should be taking that energy that you were focusing on that and going out and either building things or trying to bring people into the chain, going into Telegram rooms and X rooms where people talk about crypto or talk about government controls and what crypto means going forward into 2025. Go and educate those people. That's what will bring people to the chain. And then the byproduct of that is, wow, the price pumps. But now everybody is super hyper focused on one single person only. So when there's a bad piece of news, the price goes down. When he tweets, the price goes up. And everybody sits around on their hands waiting for him to bring money in and pump their bags. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's a great point. Like you said, it's like sprinkles on the cake, right? If it happens, it happens. But what people need to be doing is educating, making content, right? Make content. Go on, and it doesn't have to be long form content. You can do TikTok, you can do Instagram, Reels, whatever. But getting out there and showing people what Pulse Chain's about, because there is still people that don't know what it is. For example, I went for drinks with an old friend the other day, and he invited a friend of a friend, and this guy was into crypto. And when I met, he was like, "Oh, what are you into?" Blah blah blah. I mentioned Pulse Chain. He's like, "Oh no, that's not the Hex guys, is it?" Anyway, this kind of conversation started. He hadn't done his homework. Obviously, he'd heard peripherally about Richard and what's not. Anyway, the more I spoke to this guy, I found out he actually lost. He invested $30,000 into Luna in 2021. At the height of it, he had 900,000 US. And then it death spiraled, right? And he lost everything. So, you know, you've got people who are saying, hey, you got to be careful. This is a scam. And this guy lost basically $1 million US, nearly $1 million US.
Well, the same happens on any chain, right? It could happen. It has happened with people in Hex. It's happened with people in Pulse who bought a ton after it went live. It's happened to people who bought ETH. It's happened to people who, well, Bitcoin's really close to its all-time high, but it has happened to people in Bitcoin before. What about those days that went up to 70K and then it dropped down to, whatever, it dropped to 20 some K, right? The same thing happens everywhere in crypto. Now, the question is it likely to recover? If you sustain a big dip and you're still holding, why are you still holding? Do you believe that at some point it's going to recover? Now, in this Pulse Chain community, we have tons of people who say, yeah, they believe it's going to the moon. Yeah, they believe Richard's going to beat his case. That's what they say with their mouths. But then with their fingers and their wallets, as soon as they hear some bad news, they dump. And I haven't examined the wallet addresses. Is it the same people buying back in, the next day? Because that is a strategy for some people, by the way. You hear a piece of bad news. Yeah, some people hear a piece of bad news and they dump. And then they wait for a piece of good news and then they buy it back in, right? And they try and time that. I did that at one point and it worked out. And then I did that at a different point and it didn't work out. Doge is a good example. Anytime that Elon Musk years ago used to tweet about Doge, okay, the price would just soar, okay, 20, 30, 40, 50%. All right. And then it would slowly go back down. And then a few days or a couple weeks would go by, all of a sudden a tweet would come through. He'd say something about a dog. The price would go up again a lot. Okay. So there were people that used that as a strategy. Oh, I'm just going to buy the news. When he tweets something good, I'm going to set my phone to alert me whenever Elon tweets something, and I'm going to buy the moment that he says something good. All right. Where that didn't work out, because that can't work forever, because there's always a bigger dog with a lot more coins than you. Well, or people buy ahead of time. Everyone tries to front run everyone else. So I remember he was going on Saturday Night Live, and it was like the Doge Daddy episode, I think they might have called it. Okay, and this Saturday Night Live was planned for like weeks and weeks. Okay, so everybody said to themselves, "I'm going to front run this," and a lot of those people believed that as soon as the episode came out, the price was going to go up. Okay, but the really smart ones said, "You know what? I don't think that's going to happen because we have so much advance warning about this. We know ahead of time that episode's coming out. So why would I wait till the episode comes out to buy?" So you get all these people who front ran everyone. And then the news came out. New people bought in, but then all those earlier people just dumped on their head and the price went down immediately. Okay, it went down a lot. Okay. And you see those same exact things happen in the Pulse and the Hex community. All right. If you know something's going to happen in the future, everyone, or believes something's going to happen in the future, you get these thousands of people who try and front run it. Then when that thing happens, the price doesn't do anything but go down. Here we are in the middle of a Hex conference. Yes, we're streaming during a Hex conference. But look, there's a Hex conference going on at the moment online. Everybody believes that the price is going to go up during a Hex conference. Historically, that's not what happens at all. Everyone front runs each other, and then during a Hex conference, people are selling. So you have traders in the midst who buy and sell the news. And with those, you will always have winners and you'll always have losers.
Yeah. I mean, one positive note, or maybe some people might say it, it's not a positive, but there's a big Hex community, a big Pulse chain community. Some of them mad as hatters, but that's what we need in a successful ecosystem is a community that believes in it. So let's hope 2025 brings us a little bit more good news. But even though price has gone down, listen, we like price going up like anyone else, but we also like DeFi yield, right? We like stuff where you can stake stable coins, where you can yield farm, where you can borrow against your assets and put that to work for you. I think we touched on this, or maybe we didn't touch on this in our last stream, but there is the new stable power pool over on Fux.
Yeah, and you can also participate by taking your LP tokens going over to 2Fux, and like the returns over there, it's like 70%. So if you do it in Fux and that's where you stop, all right, you can get 18 to 28%. If you take your LP tokens and come over here to 2Fux, stake them over here, you're going to get somewhere close to 62%.
Yep. So I had Fast Abdul on a few weeks back before Christmas, and there's also some tutorials, but let me just run through this quickly so people can understand. So basically what you do if you want to, take advantage of this, you'd come over to Fux here, you'd add some liquidity, and this pool's starting to, get some volume and have quite a bit of TVL there. You'd add either some HexDC, some PXDC, or wrap DAI. You can add all three, you can add two, you can add one, right? It's up to you what you want to do. Once you've added some liquidity to this pool, you're going to be given some LP tokens, and you can stake them here, but not financial advice. But for a better APR, you'd bounce over to 2Fux, where you're getting nearly 70% here. And how this works is it's basically like you're staking like you're a whale, right? So you're using the combined. It's still your keys, your coins, and everything. But you're using the combined TVL of 2Fux to stake.
Yeah.
So yeah, yield on top of yield.
Yeah, great way to boost your yield. And these same protocols are forked from very successful protocols over on Ethereum chain. Some of the most successful protocols that even exist over on Ethereum chain. And here they are available to those users in Pulse chain with our tokens.
Yep. So you can, like you said, if you've got some stable coins, I mean, you've been a big advocate of stable coin yield for a while, because whether the market's going up and down, right, they're not just sitting on your wallet gathering nothing. You're putting them to work for you. And in that pool, you've got HexDC, PXDC, and Wrapped DAI. Talking about, sorry, go for it.
Yeah. So here's something somebody asked me the other day. They said, why would I want to hold stables and stake them or LP them when I can just buy a different token instead? And essentially, he thought he was going to get rich off that other token. And here's why certain people might have a different strategy. Those other tokens that you're holding, you have no idea what they're going to do. So that guy literally said that like a day or two ago. And the tokens he was looking at are down a lot from the point he said that. Okay. So, and they could go down even more. All right. Now, alternatively, the appeal of something like Hex was what, 36% APY, right? As an example. Well, right now we have stable coins that offer that and more. Okay. And these stable coins have no impermanent loss. They're always redeemable. They're always for their underlying collateral $1 worth. So that's what maintains the peg. And then when you're LPing these stable coins, you may get more of one, less than another. But at the end of the day, you have, you still have the same plus some stable coins from what you put in. But while you're in there, you're earning other tokens. You're earning either PHUX or you're earning 2FUX, or if you're doing these sort of strategies with the core stable coins over on PulseX, maybe you get some PulseX. Then you say to yourself, what do you do with that? Because let's say you're earning a yield and you decide you're going to use that yield to buy those same tokens you were talking about. What does that mean? That means you're getting the thing that you like for free. For free. Okay. And you're not as concerned if it goes down. Okay. Let's just say you had 10 grand and you throw it in the 2FUX. And at the end of the year, you had something like 15, 16, 17 grand. Well, but you had been using that yield you've been earning. So now you have, 5, 6, 7 grand worth of Hex or a Pulse or a PulseX or whatever you decided to buy with that asset. And I'm not saying that you have to dump the tokens you're earning, because there's other things you can do with those as well. But the point here is you're getting things for free instead of just using your paycheck or your savings and buying an asset, and you hope that it goes up and then maybe it goes down and you lose a lot of value. You're literally parked there with zero impermanent loss, constantly buying the thing that you like.
Yep. So why have it just sitting there doing nothing? Why not put it to work for you? I think it's a great mindset to have in crypto, especially when price isn't going up. Talking about good protocols that have been forked over from Ethereum, obviously protocol, our first liquidity fork, is working flawlessly. And I just want to touch on this because I saw a friend, this is a real world case use of this. So I saw a friend the other day for lunch, and he put in quite a lot into the PulseX sack. He was in a pool. He had quite a lot. And anyway, long story short, he was doing some renovations on his home recently, had to sell some crypto to do that, and actually ended up taking a loan, using Earn, taking a loan, taking those stable coins, getting them out into the real world, into dollars, and doing the stuff he needed. Luckily for him, he said that he kind of got somewhere near the bottom as well. So it's been going up a little bit since then. So he's
Mhm.
holding on to his PulseX. He's made some money doing some other stuff and paid off part of the loan. And he's also got to do his renovations, right? So this is a real world use case of using something
Absolutely.
like Earn or Flex or liquid loans.
And there's and in most places there's tax advantages to taking a loan over selling an asset.
Mm. So, win-win. Again, not financial advice, but you're getting the tax benefits. You're holding on to your asset. So hopefully in 2025 and whatever we see that bull run that we're all hoping for, compared to someone, 10 years ago or so with Bitcoin and just selling it because they're thinking they have to. And then obviously you see all that price appreciation and then you're regretting it. So we have obviously Earn running flawlessly. We have Flex running flawlessly. And then you obviously have the liquid loans protocol, which is the same for PLS. So 3 different ways you can use pretty much for blue chip tokens on Pulse Chain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have other things too. We have safe.powercity.io, multi-signature safe, free to use for the community. There's no fees or anything involved with it. If you're into or have a need for having multi-signature control over your assets. And then Portal X, which is also something that people need to consider when they're onboarding people. It can be very difficult to onboard people into a side chain such as Pulse Chain. They have to go through an exchange. They have to go through Ethereum. They have to go through the bridge. They have to, once they're through the bridge, they have to use a DEX, or they have to use an aggregator. So maybe either Pateus or PulseX or PHUX, and they have to swap into the thing they like. They have to acquire Pulse as well, right? So through that whole thing, they have to come up with some Pulse for gas, and it can be quite overwhelming. All right. Alternatively, you can use Portal X, and it's the one-stop shop to do your swaps, to do your on-ramp through the bridge. This will go right through the Pulse Chain bridge itself. So instead of having to tell somebody, hey, you're going to go to this website, bridge.pulsechain.com, and then after you get through there, you're going to go to pateus.io, and then after you're there, you're going to go here and there.
It's too much for beginners. It's too much, yeah.
You can say, hey, look, if you want to come into Pulse Chain, all you got to do is have something on ETH, or elsewhere, by the way, and then all you have to do is swap into some Pulse. Or if they don't have a wallet that was used on Pulse, I think the bridge will actually fund a little bit. Maybe there's a trickle that comes out. But anyway, it's easy. It's a one-stop shop. And from anywhere in crypto, they can come into Pulse Chain. If they're coming in with a lot, you want to tell them to come in from Ethereum because that'll populate the Pulse Chain bridge. If they're coming in from Binance or somewhere else, sure, there's some limits. There's, $1,000 or $2,000 worth or whatever it is at any given time that it fluctuates a little bit to come in from some of those side chains, just because of the way the liquidity works across all the side chains. It's not as heavy as the route from ETH to Pulse Chain, but one-stop shop to do everything. And you can even do your swaps inside of this thing once you're on Pulse Chain. So
this links up to DEXs on Pulse Chain, right?
Yeah.
Pateus, and it's giving you the biggest bang for your buck. So it's always going to get you the most cost-effective route. Like you said, it simplifies it. And we have tutorials all on our YouTube channel, how to use this very quick and easy, clean interface. So yeah, use it, guys, or let other people know who are, more newbie and or even advanced. They just want to get into Pulse Chain easily and quickly.
Absolutely.
So we have obviously multiple dApps running. It's the beginning of 2025. We have Portal X Swap, we have Earn Protocol, Flex Protocol, Amplifier, which we haven't touched on today, which is a front end for both the Earn and Liquid Loans protocols for compounding DeFi yield. But at the core of our whole ecosystem, aptly named the core, is where you can be collecting. If you're a staker inside the core, you can be collecting a percentage of those fees, right? In all of the dApps.
Yeah, fees from all these different dApps that we have, minus the multi-sig safe, which has no fees.
Hmm.
But all the rest of the dApps and the dApps that are yet to come, because we have some in audit at the moment, all these things generate fees that flow into the core for those that stake Watt tokens or are LPing Watt tokens.
Hmm. Yep. So whether you're using staking Watt or PLP, and again, it's not just that. There's other stuff in here inside the core. We have stuff like the utilities tab, where you can wrap Pulse easily. You can zap yourself into an LP position in just a few clicks, and also it makes becoming an LP even easier because you don't need both tokens. You can zap your Pulse into the split that you need, and then some other handy utilities here. So, yep, 2025, Jesse, first stream back. Good to get back on the horse and let everyone know that we're here. We're building, still building. We've got some dApps in the pipe, like Pixel Park. We've got some dApps that we can't really talk too much about too. And hopefully it's a good year for crypto, right?
Hopefully. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Good to see you, man. And we will catch you on the next one.
All right. Thanks. See you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year again. And for any of our live dApps, you can find the link below in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.